any sequence that has a constant difference. This means that the elements in the sequence either increases by or decreases by a constant difference. Then we have a linear sequence. So what you need to remember is, let's say we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. These are the elements of the sequence, right? You can see that every term here is increasing by 2. So you can see 2 plus 2 gives you 4. If I add 2 to that term, it gives me 6. If I add 2 to that term, it gives me 8. If I add 2 to that term, it gives me 10. So what this does is the sequence constantly increases by 2. Right? So that's what you need to remember. And also you need, as we've already discussed, is that n is a position and it can only be positive integers from 1 to positive infinity. Right? So it can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, why did I say that? Now, let's say that they told you to find the 8th term. To find the 8th term, it'll be better to generate a few terms of the sequence, and then you'll get the 8th term, the exact 8th term. But if they tell you to find the 100th term, then you need to use a formula. Now, this is not allowed in grade 9, but it's very difficult for us to understand patterns if we don't learn it in this way, in a mechanical way first. So this is the way I teach it, right? You need to remember this formula. Tn is equal to A and C, right? And A is term 2 minus term 1. So what is term 2? It's 4. What is term 1? It's 2. So 4 minus 2 is 2. So therefore we got Tn is equal to 2n plus C. How do you get C? C is term 1 minus whatever A is. Right? So that's how you have to work it in stages. Work for A first, then come to C. So it'll be term 1 minus, put this in brackets, A, which will give you 0. So therefore, Tn is equal to 2n plus 0, which is just 2n. Understood? So if I want to find the 100th term, it'll be T100 is equal to 2 into 100, which equals to 200. So the value of the 100th term is 200. Right, so now basically explain the two approaches. If you want the next term, or if you want terms that have a small value of n, then you can just generate the next term. So just add 2 and so on, and do that until you get to the 8th term or until you get to the 10th term. And just for smaller values, as long as it's manageable, do it. However, if you're looking for like the 100th term or the 500th term, then it's best that we use the formula. How do we use the formula? First, you need to remember that Tn is equal to A and C, right? Or An plus C. A is equal to term 2 minus term 1. 4 minus 2 gives you 2. So now we got Tn is equal to 2n plus C. But how do you get C? It is term 1 minus A. So it'll be term 1 minus whatever the value of A is, gives you 0. So therefore Tn is equal to 2n. Right? Understood? So that's basically what I want you to say there, is that you can use the formula or you could just generate it by using the constant difference. Now, to find the constant difference is very simple. If you don't know, it's just basically term 2 minus term 1. So if I say 4 minus 2 is what? 2. So how did I go from 2 to 4? I added by 2. If I say 6 minus 4 is what? 2. How did I go from 4 to 6? I added by 2. Right? So that's what we're doing. We're basically adding by 2 to every previous term just to get the next term. Right? So that's how we do the linear sequence.